All right, so hello, my name is Dina Watson, and I am a senior at Manchester High School, and my project is called Determining the Predictiveness of Beech Leaf Disease Symptom Severity based on Overwintering Nematode Abundance in Fagus grandifolia buds. So based off of the title of my project, you may be asking yourself what exactly beech leaf disease is. And it is a novel forest disease affecting American beech in the eastern United States, and it was first discovered in Ohio in 2012. And since its discovery, it has now spread across the northeastern United States. And it was first discovered in Connecticut in August of 2019 in Fairfield County, and now affects all counties of Connecticut, all across the Great Lakes region, New England, and the Mid-Atlantic. And then this image on the right here shows the distribution of beech leaf disease as of 2022. So as you can see, it was pretty widespread then, and it has spread greatly since then into West Virginia, Vermont, and some areas of Virginia. So beech leaf disease is expressed in very easily visually identifiable symptoms. The three main symptom expressions of beech leaf disease are interveinal banding, which is shown on this image on the left. You can see that there's a darkening between the veins of the leaves, which can be easily identified when looking up at the canopy and up at the light, and the leaves will express that very clearly, and that is a clear indication that the tree is infected with beech leaf disease. Also, a more severe symptom expression of beech leaf disease is a crinkling and a leathery texture of the leaf, which causes it to be undersized from its normal healthy state. As you can see, this image on the middle, the two leaves on the top left show that dark crinkling. So this is almost when the interveinal banding has covered the entire leaf. And then the most severe symptom expression of beech leaf disease is an aborted bud. So this is when the bud has become so infected with beech leaf disease that the leaf stands no chance and there is no leaf that is able to grow during the spring leaf out season. So the effects of beech leaf disease are widespread because of the high distribution of American beech in the eastern United States, which is shown in this image on the top right. Beech leaf disease is beech trees are widespread, especially in northern New England and in New York. So the compounding of these more severe symptoms can lead to tree mortality, especially when the aborted buds have, when there are so many aborted buds that no leaf is able to grow. And an example of tree mortality is this image on the bottom. As you can see that this tree is exhibiting no leaf growth, while the trees in the back are fully grown with leaves. A widespread tree mortality of American beech can lead to alterations in forest composition. As I mentioned before, many forests rely heavily on American beech trees as a large fraction of their forest composition. And this alteration in forest composition can lead to ecological consequences, as many forest species such as bears and deer rely heavily on American beech for food. So the hypothesized causal agent of beech leaf disease is a newly discovered nematode subspecies called Lytolenchus crinitae mccannii. So nematodes are essentially just microscopic worms that are found in essentially all ecosystems across the earth. And this is a new subspecies of Lytolenchus nematode. So these are plant parasitic nematodes. So they infest inside of plants and they can carry out their entire life cycle, and give birth and expand their populations inside of a singular organism. So this particular nematode that is causing beech leaf disease is Lytolenchus crinitae mccannii, and these are two images of this particular nematode. And the one on the right is actually one that I saw under the microscope while doing my investigation. So it is thought at large by forest pathologists that these nematodes infect overwintering American beach buds and spend the winter and into the spring inside of these buds. And the amount of infestation of these nematodes in the buds can lead to the symptom expression of beach leaf disease in the spring. But this theory had not yet been confirmed. So the goal of my experiment was to assess the relationship between nematode populations in overwintering Fagus grandifolia buds and symptom severity following spring leaf out. So it is hypothesized that there will be a positive correlation between nematode abundance and beach leaf severity score, meaning that the more nematodes I've found inside of the bud, I've hypothesized there would be a more severe symptom expression, and also vice versa, less nematodes, less severe symptom expression. So I began this investigation by flagging 10 trees at MDC Reservoir number 6, located in West Hartford, Connecticut. And from these 10 trees, I took 20 representative bud samples from the trees. And these were all obviously American beech trees. And I took an average of 2 buds per tree. So after collecting all of these buds in February of 2023, I had to dissect all of these buds in order to properly count all of the nematodes infested inside of all of these buds. So that began by soaking each and every one of these buds in 5 milliliters of distilled water. This allowed the buds to disseminate out of the buds and into the water. And then I further dissected the buds and peeled the bud scale back to allow any more deeper infested nematodes to come out of the bud and into the water. And then after the dissections in the 5 mil, I removed all the organic bud matter, and then I was left with just water and the nematodes, which had disseminated out of the bud. And I took 10 250 microliter aliquots from that 5 mil, and I was able to accurately count the amount of nematodes in a single bud. So then I had to make my severity assessments examining the expression of beech leaf disease on the leaves in spring leaf out. So I did this during June of 2023. So what I did was I selected the 2 closest leaves and or aborted buds from the position in which I selected a bud from a particular tree in the winter. So this allowed me to make the most close assessment from where of the beech leaf disease symptom expression from where I selected the bud in the winter. So for each bud that I sampled in the winter, I selected 2 leaves and or an aborted bud. So I created an ordinal scale specifically for beech leaf disease symptom expression in order to make these assessments, which went from score number 1 to 5. So a score number 1, a leaf would receive a score number 1 if it was asymptomatic and healthy. A leaf would score a number 2 if there was only light intervenial banding and slight discoloration. A leaf would score a number 3 if that banding was more heavy and covered more than half of the leaf. A leaf would score a number 4 if it had that crinkling and leathery texture and was smaller than its healthy size. And then the most severe symptom expression would be a score number 4, which would be the aborted bud. So after making these assessments, I collected all my data and was able to find my results. So I found that the mean number of nematodes per 5 mil was 559 nematodes. So that represents the average amount of nematodes per bud in total. And then I found that the range in the buds was 24 to 3,210 nematodes per bud in total. And again, that represents that 5 mil soak that the bud was in. So I found that the majority of my leaves actually scored quite low on the symptom expression scale. Almost half of them got a score number 1 and were asymptomatic. Also, quite a few only scored a score number 2. So 7 out of the 40 only had light banding and slight discoloration.
Dina, you have 2 minutes remaining.
Okay. Also, quite a few of them actually scored number 5. So 7 out of the 40 aborted buds. 7 out of the 40 were aborted buds. So I performed a Spearman's rank correlation coefficient on my data, and I received a correlation coefficient score of 0.54. So this was a statistically significant finding, and it indicated a moderate positive correlation between nematode count and leaf severity score, which I'll go into a little bit more later. And then this graph shows the mean number of nematodes per severity score. And despite this low outlier of a score number 5, I did find a positive correlation between nematode count and severity score. Okay, and then my discussion is that there was a moderate positive correlation between nematode count and spring leaf out severity score, as I showed in the two graphs. So this indicates that nematode count in overwintering buds is moderately predictive of symptom severity. So this confirms my hypothesis that if there are more nematodes, there will be more severe symptom expression of beech leaf disease. So this kind of establishes the root cause of beech leaf disease as the infestation of Laetulincus crenatae mccannei, and confirms the theory that many scientists have, and also helps bolster prevention and diagnostic of beech leaf, diagnostic methods of beech leaf disease. As if we're able to find a way to stop nematode infestation, we can likely find a way to stop beech leaf disease symptom expression. And some research that still needs to be done about beech leaf disease is what particular factors leave American beech vulnerable to this infestation, and how these nematodes are actually getting into these buds in the first place. There's still a large knowledge gap in what we know about beech leaf disease and how it's happening and spreading so rapidly, but I hope that my research can help contribute to future prevention of this disease.
All right, time is up right there.
All right. And I just had a few acknowledgements there, but that's fine.
Excellent.